Listen to the Vibes, hosted by Coyote Knight. Listen in for some positivity and good times. The views and opinions of our guests may not necessarily reflect those of the host or the Vibes broadcast network. Listener discretion is advised.
I told you we should have had a garage sale.
You'll be fine.
It's supposed to be possessed, right?
Are you possessed?
Does Mom seem okay to you?
At the risk of sounding like a wacko, I'm just gonna say it. Michael, your house creeps me out.
Did you know that the original owner died in this house?
What are you looking for, Kristen?
Let me explain a little bit to you about demons.
You know who's inside me, preacher boy.
Have you heard of Deliverance Ministry? Don't forget to do your homework.
You need to go back to bed.
I need my phone. You should know better than to be going through my personal belongings.
Father Bob.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes. I have here Miss Tara Milante, who's in a nice little film called The Evil Down the Street. So tell us about you.
About me, okay. Well, I was born and raised in Orange County, California.
Okay.
I still live in here, haven't moved, but I enjoy the weather. And so I've been acting for quite some time. I used to act when I was younger, when I was in like elementary school, so like around 8 or 7, and then I stopped because I really struggled with reading and comprehension, and I found out I was dyslexic. So school was like a big challenge for me and a big insecurity in a sense. So that's why I originally stopped because as you get older, you start getting like more scripts and things like that. And I would just get too overwhelmed because I'm like, I don't know how to say these words, and that putting a kid in that situation where she's already terrified of learning and reading, it was impossible. The words just took over me and I just would freeze. So I was like, I can't do this, Mom, unless I'm smart. Like I can't act anymore until I'm smart. Which now when I look back at it, I'm just like, oh, that just breaks my heart. But I told myself, I'm like, once I'm smart, I'm going to go back out and try this all over again. So once I graduated high school, I went to junior college and took like a theater class there. And I was like, of course, I love this. It was my favorite class. And I took all the theater classes, even the ones that didn't count, I didn't care. I took all of them and I was like, okay, I want to do this. And I was debating if I wanted to go do a 4-year college and like major in theater, or, I'm so close to Los Angeles. So everyone just told me, they're like, just go take classes. I mean, you're right there. Like, just go to LA and just take a whole bunch of classes and learn. So I did. I took a lot of classes. That's how I actually met Craig, the producer and the writer and the actor of Evil Down the Street. He was in one of my first classes that I've taken, and and then ever since I've just been working hard. The acting journey is no joke. I had a wise teacher once tell me it's a waiting game. You have to be patient and you just have to keep going forward. And it's tough because, everyone always asks you every Christmas, oh, what are you in? What are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And it's easy to talk to actors about this because they understand like the struggle. It's like kind of becoming a doctor in a sense, I'm not comparing myself to a doctor whatsoever, because what they do is like I can't compare. But in a sense, like it takes a long time, and a lot of people use that analogy, like you got to give yourself like 8 years, 10 years. A lot of people don't book their first big things like on TV or, you know, for like 9, 8, 10 years, which is like really hard to hear because you're just like, oh, you know.
Mhm.
So I think once you kind of know that, you kind of can be like, okay, I'm on the right track. So just about, I'm constantly learning. I'm a big learner. It's funny how now, like I used to hate learning when I was younger because I struggled with it so much. Like I hated it. I'm like, I can't read. I hated popcorn reading. I'd get anxiety. I would do everything I could to just leave the classroom. I couldn't even focus. And it's funny how now it's come like full circle in a sense. Like now I love to learn. Now I love to read. Like my sister makes fun of me because I like make flashcards now of like vocab words that I want to understand better. So I'm a big learner. I love to learn. I have a lot to learn, but I'm just fascinated in learning. I know it's like a really weird thing, but like I'll take like random online courses. Like I just finished one yesterday it's like an online, it's called EDX, Harvard EDX you just Google it. And I just took this philosophy course from Harvard, and it was like amazing and eye-opening. So the good thing about the internet now is you can really learn anything. So that's kind of, and for free. So that's awesome for me. And I'm trying to learn Spanish. At the moment, I have Rosetta Stone. So I'm always learning things, and my new passions are gardening.
All
I
right.
like to garden. So kind of during this pandemic, I realized I have a green thumb, and I like make little seedlings and collect my own seeds, and kind of fell in love with it. I've always liked playing outside when I was a kid, so it kind of brought me back to that. And just I think there's something cool about making your food if you can, if you are able to. Like it's really fun, and it's and that's also that teaches you patience, because you might get bugs that eat your crops, or the wind blows everything over. So it really teaches you patience. There's a lot of lessons in the garden is what I like to tell people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a lot of patience. You don't always count how many, okras you need. And you're like, oh, I should have planted like 10 okra plants, but I only planted 3. So that's not enough servings. So I don't know. I get really into gardening. I watch a lot of gardening videos for fun. What else do I like to do? I love to eat. I love eating. I love going to restaurants. And so I'm dating a chef, which has really opened my eyes to the culinary industry, and really have an appreciation for chefs and restaurants. And it's really an art at the end of the day. And
Sure.
I have such appreciation for they think about each dish, and just like all I always say, like I always like to explain to my sister of like what his job is like all the time. I'm like, it's like cooking Thanksgiving every day, but for like a whole bunch of people, like in a sense of like all the prep you're doing, and just like preparation, and it's a lot of work. And I just feel like they don't get enough credit in a sense of all that they do. They work so hard back there, just to give you this nice, warm, hot meal with flavor and thought and care to it. I love food. I love coffee. I love coffee. I love cold brew.
I have my coffee here with me.
Yes. Yeah, I love cold brew. I love going tasting coffee. I love going to coffee shops. What else? I like to eat. Yeah. I think a lot of people like to eat. But yeah, so that's kind of, and then on my spare time, I work on scenes. I take acting classes. I'm still taking acting classes. I'm taking improv classes. I tape my own scenes. I do what I can, just to keep improving and getting better, so I can tell really great stories and be effective. And yeah, so I talked really fast. I feel. I'm sorry. You're probably like, "What? She will just keep going."
Hey, this is your time. So we're
I'm
trying
just like,
we're trying to get to know you better. So that's part of your personality. So, everybody will know that's Tara. And speaking of coffee,
mhm.
we talked before we started recording that I'm diabetic. And anyway, Coffee Mate must have heard me because they make a sugar-free peppermint mocha. So I
Ooh,
put that in my coffee and it's like heaven. So
I gotta try. What brand do you get?
I
I gotta
believe
try
I,
this.
I believe it is Coffee Mate. They do make a regular, with all the good sugar and stuff in it, peppermint mocha, but it's
Mm.
wonderful. So yeah, that's my passion. First thing in the morning, coffee pot. You know how it is.
Yeah. I can drink like 3-4 cups of coffee a day. Like I enjoy the flavor. I usually just have it with nothing in it. Just to because I used to be really bad with my coffees. I think when I was like 21, I would drink like 2 large vanilla iced lattes from Coffee Bean. I don't know if you've ever been there, but their drinks are super sweet
Oh my
and they were
God.
delicious. But man, did I gain some weight. And I was like, where am I getting this from? And I also used to work at a diner. So I could drink as many shakes that I wanted. I could have burgers. And it's like, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to calm down with what I'm just drinking these calories. That's probably I probably drink like 800 calories twice a
Oh my,
day and not even knowing I was doing it.
oh
And I
my
was like,
gosh.
so I was like, okay, I need to embrace plain coffee. And so I started just drinking it plain. And then now I love just plain black coffee, but I can do some sweet here and there, but I try not to because I'm like, oh my God, this is so good.
Oh, well, growing
I
up,
want another one and then another one and then another one and then it doesn't stop.
when I was growing up, my grandparents drank coffee, my dad drank coffee. So, I wanted to be a man and drink coffee, and I was going to drink it black. And, I did put sugar and stuff in it. And, I'm like, I don't need all that flavors. And then Coffee Mate.
It just makes a difference. I don't
It
know.
does.
Makes everything better. I don't know.
Exactly. And, then there was the big craze, of course, is Starbucks. And when Starbucks opened up in our town, I was like, I'm not spending $8 for a cup of coffee. And then I discovered they make vanilla bean.
My sister likes the
Oh,
vanilla bean.
yes. Does not like me back, but I do like it.
Yeah, I have to discipline myself. I allow myself one day a week to get I call it a naughty drink or a treat drink.
Mhm.
I get a large and just go for it. Kind of like a cheat day where you're just like, this is the day I can have desserts or, because I can get out of hand when
Well,
it comes to good stuff.
Since I started going to a what do you call them, like a nutritionist, a dietitian, and I had to learn how to eat better.
There's a lot to it. Oh my God.
You still have to have those days where you eat, stuff that's not exactly what you consider good for you. You got to trick your body. Otherwise, you're going to start storing fat because your body thinks it's starving, even when you're eating right. And I couldn't understand. I'm eating nothing but salads and this,
You're
that, and the other. And why am I not, why did I gain 3 pounds? It's because you have to trick your body.
It's so, yeah, the body and dieting is a whole thing. I always struggle with those 10 pounds in a sense of losing them and then I can gain them real quick, but losing them is no joke. No joke.
I mean,
What?
I can look at food and gain weight. I'm telling you.
But I feel like everyone holds it differently. For me and my sister, we have 2 completely different body types. like I'm more bottom heavy and she's more top heavy. And like in her stomach area, she has a longer torso, I have a shorter torso. And like I'll hold weight in my like torso and belly area and also, you know, down there. And then she doesn't get any fat in her belly at all. Like she can, you know, even after she gave birth, within, like, I swear she had like a 6-pack and she didn't even work out. So some people, that's why I always say, like, for women or even men, like, just you don't compare yourself to anyone's body, because we all hold weight so differently. And as much as like I want her stomach so bad, I'm like, I don't have her stomach. Like, she just is, it's longer, and the fat doesn't go there. You know, it just doesn't go there. That's the tricky thing. You wish you could control where the fat went, right? You're like, I want it to go there, or I want it to go there, not there. But
Right.
it's so annoying. It's like the last place where it's going to be eliminated, and that's like, it's such a.
You know, the funny thing is whenever I had lost all the weight, and all of it left my butt. I have no butt. All I have is a crack. You know, it's like here's my back. You know, the spine goes to a butt crack, and then there's, you know, and I still can't seem to get rid of that little pudge in the stomach area.
Right. I feel like the stomach area is a lot of people's trouble area. I swear, it's so frustrating.
I could just move it, you know?
Yeah. And the thing with my sister too, I always tell her this because, you know, I can't, I'm her sister. She eats so much junk food.
Mm-hmm.
She drinks all the lattes, eats all the, you know, I'll go to her house and has like Cheetos and chocolate cake, and she'll get a pizza. And I'm like, I have to go work out for like an hour, and I'm like, I don't have the same metabolism as you, and she's older than me. And I'm just like, it's just the way we were. It's just our biology, you know. I have to accept it. And I'm like, I can't eat that. You can eat that, but I can't eat that. Like, stop trying to, it's not my cheat day today, okay? Your cheat day is every day, but my cheat day is on Monday, and I can't eat this with you. And it's so tempting because she loves all the same foods that I do. Like, we have the same childhood favorite snacks, like cereals and cookies and milk and cold pizza. So she like always has my weaknesses always around her. And it tests me so much. I'm like, I don't need it. I don't need it. It's so hard. It's like, I hate going to her house. I hate it.
I know. I had a cousin that was like that, could eat anything and still just couldn't gain a pound. And I try to eat right, and I get disgusted because I'll get on the scale and it's like, how in the heck do you gain 3 pounds in one day eating like I do? You know?
Right?
I don't get it.
And what's it called? And speaking of like people that just have great metabolisms, Elena from Evil Down the Street, when we were on set, I remember this woman, she was just like, she had like, and I was trying to be conscious of what I was eating. And I remember she would have like 3-4 pieces of pizza and like 2 sandwiches. And I'm like, and like a cookie. She's like, you want a cookie? I'm like, yeah, I want a cookie. But she's like, yeah, like, she's like, for some reason, my metabolism, you know, just like started going really, you know, started picking up later in life. She's like, when I was in my 20s, it wasn't like that. And then after that, it just, once I hit my 30s, I'm like, my metabolism just is crazy. And I'm like, I'm so jealous of you. I'm like, do you work out? She's like, not really. And I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, it's funny. When I was a kid,
I'm jealous of her.
up till I was about 5 or 6 years old, I had a great metabolism. I mean, I could eat anything, and I stayed skinny. And then I had my tonsils removed, and it seems like ever since I got my tonsils out, I just kept putting on weight.
Interesting.
So, I mean, I know your thyroid sometimes has a lot to do with your weight as well.
I've heard
So,
of that.
I don't know.
I just wish there was like this like body scan thing that you could just walk into and they'll tell you why it's hard for you. Like, oh, it's your thyroid, or, you know, you need to drink more water, or, you know, you're allergic to those foods, or you just don't digest really well, or I don't know, or your
Just-
body doesn't like that. So
You
maybe
just
that's why.
you need to go on the set of Star Trek. I'm sure they have a machine like that there. So
Like, I don't know. I want like these, so I have to like be very conscious of what I eat because I do like to splurge. I'm a girl that can eat. Like when I say I can eat, I can eat. Like I'll eat a whole bowl of nachos and like a big burrito with a side of sour cream and like have a margarita. Like I could do it all. And people are like, "You sure you want all that?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want it." No, I can eat for sure. So, and yeah, and my nickname too when I was a kid is Chubby.
Oh,
I have a necklace that says it. It's not a bad thing. I don't take it in a negative way, but it's more of an endearing thing. I used to like walk around and introduce myself to other kids. I'm like, "My name's Tara, but you can call me Chubby if you want to." Like I was so proud of my the name Chubby. And they called me that because I was chubby and obviously because I would eat everything when I was a baby. My sister was opposite. She would just eat yogurt and strawberries, but I was completely different. I'd be like, I would eat it all. And they're like, "Oh, she's so chubby. She's so chubby." So everyone calls me that. They still call me it all the time.
well, I'm not going to call you Chubby. I'm sorry.
You're okay. I don't get mad about it. I think I'm like, "Aw, you know me." You really know me.
So, if I can kind of step into your acting world, how do you get your inspiration for the roles that you play?
That's a good question. So it kind of just depends on each role, because that's still something I'm always changing and evolving because one day you're playing a lawyer and for me, I personally don't really know that world too much. I don't have any family members that are in the law, or I just don't know all that jargon, all that the dialogue's really challenging, or same with like a doctor. So the way you would prep something like that is really different than just something that's like, oh, just the girl next door, or she's the friend. Like for Evil Down the Street, wasn't too challenging of a prep because I was familiar with what it's like to be 19, and also I just asked my sister a lot of questions, what it's like to be an older sister, because if you notice in the film, my character is a little cranky. She's a little cranky, and I'm not like that. So for me, making that be organic to why she's cranky. I mean, I get cranky, but not like she was like a little sassy a little bit most of the time. So I would ask my sister, I would just like ask her questions like, what is it like to be the older sibling? And there's a lot of pressure that younger siblings don't understand compared to the older one, right? They have the responsibility of like taking care of you, being an example, they're the first ones. So the parents mess up like, oh, we didn't do that right with her, or the younger one gets babied more, gets believed more usually, and there's this different pressure and dynamics. So I really took what I learned from my sister and put that into Kristen, because my sister is a little bit sassy, more sassier than I am, and a little bit more grumpy, because the young one gets what she wants most of the time. At least in my experience, I would, everyone would believe me because I'm chubby, but I'm the cute chubby one, but yeah. So, and for this film, I just really researched my sister and got into that headspace of, when you're that age, you make some regrets, right? Which I could relate to, like in high school, like, my parents were going through a lot when I was in high school. So I didn't really pay attention as much to academics. And plus I still struggled with learning because I'm dyslexic. So that was like, you're just dealing with a lot of personal things. So, a lot of students were focused on college or their future. And I just, that wasn't something that was taught in my family. My family was never like, oh, go to college and, and have like this, become a lawyer or a doctor, or, they didn't really talk about my future. I mean, my dad's advice was when I remember he told me this when I was like 21. He's like, just go to like a really rich hotel and like sit by the pool and just like wait for a guy, like a rich guy. And I'm just like, like, and the way he was raised, like you understand your parents more as you get older of how they raised you, right? So it's hard, as much as I get a little like upset inside about it, but it's what makes me who I am today. But I wish I was a little bit more focused in that area. But they didn't have that as a kid. So they didn't my dad didn't finish college. My mom didn't go to college. And just the way they were brought up, they weren't really brought up in that environment. So it explains why I wasn't, right? But my kids can be a different story. I'm like, no, or mama's going to teach you everything. The things that I wish I would have learned at that age. But oh yeah, I think I went off the rails on that one.
No.
I just took it and I went in a different direction. I'm sorry.
I am kind of curious because, I mean, I've heard people talk about dyslexia. Well, what is it like to have something like that?
Well, it's well, in a sense, it's like you'll read things and, well, like when you're younger, it kind of, you struggle with reading. You kind of get words mixed up, or when someone's speaking, it's like harder to process it because you're like taking it in, but sometimes you'll get it backwards. They use that word a lot, like you get it backwards. Like sometimes I'll say yes, but I mean no. It, like any of those tricky words, like those true and false questions, like on tests, would just confuse me so much. I'm like, you just get things backwards. Things come in and you process things in a different way than normal people do. So reading and comprehension is something that dyslexic people struggle with a lot. And so for me, and then plus, like once you're already kind of behind in school, you kind of stay behind, if that makes sense. So you're behind, once you're put in the dumb group, you're in that group and you're going to be stuck in that group till high school, right? So you're not going to really advance. And then you feel it. So you also feel, all the kids know they're in the dumb group. We're not dumb. Like we know we're in the dumb group. We all know we can't read well, so you kind of believe that. And that's, I think, the dangerous thing is you believe that you're dumb. And my advice to anyone that feels like that, it's like, that's not true. You just learn in a different way, or, you just believed that because people told you that. And, and that's a really tough thing. And, I get, I understand so much what it's like. I mean, I would fail tests all the time, and it's not that I didn't study. It's, my mom used to like study with me for like a week in advance, and she's like, I don't know why she's not passing. Like we go over it. She knows it. She's just not getting it, cause then you get a lot of anxiety. You have a lot of fear. And I think that kind of takes over. So I think once you can teach a kid that it's okay to mess up, it's okay to not get it right. I think if people, in the classroom, it was more of you embrace the mistakes, I feel like more people would be more willing to volunteer, even though they knew they weren't the best reader. Because for me, I was just terrified. I was terrified to like mess up and look dumb, because all the kids in my class read so fast. They would read extremely fast, and I couldn't even keep up with what they were saying. And then, I was terrified to be called. So I'd be reading, like trying to like make sure all the other words on the other page, if I were to get called, I know how to say them all. So I'm not even paying attention at this point because my focus is not messing up. So for me, I mean, and it just carried on as I got older. And as I got older, I started learning tools and how I work, what works for Tara. Some people are just going to have photographic memories, and I hate those people. They just save so much time. But for me, I just find things like writing the lines out, doing exercises. I mean, I've taken all these like memory tests and like courses to help me with, memorizing and comprehension. And so I have I have a whole list of things to help me memorize if I'm having trouble. And so yeah, I feel like I'm in a good place now with it. If anything, I feel like it's more of a gift now because I put so much more effort into the script versus someone that can just look at it and be like, okay, I got it. But they don't really got it. They just got it because they can just look down like, oh, I know that line. But they don't really dig deeper into it in a sense, the way
They're not
that
feeling
I do.
it. In other
Yeah.
words.
So it's kind of, yeah. Like I really like do my best to understand it and I go deep with it. And so really it's been a gift in a lot of ways. You know, it's made me a nice person because it's taught me to know what it feels like to feel like left out and like I don't belong. So I've always been kind. So it's taught me a lot of empathy and understanding and patience at a very young age. And that not everyone learns the same and we're all different, and just to be kind with everyone. And so it's really taught me a lot of like good things about my character. So in a way I'm happy, because maybe if I was just like really smart, I'd maybe be kind of mean. Not that smart people are mean, but I'd be like, why don't you get it? Like it's right there, you know? Instead of being like, okay, like why are you having trouble? Like let's work on it. Let's do flashcards. Let's make it fun. What do you not understand about this? Instead of, you know, because I would just nod to the teacher all the time, like, yeah, I got it, because I didn't want them to re-explain it because I felt guilty about them re-explaining it because I didn't get it.
Yeah.
You know, because there's so much I didn't understand. So I'm like, I'm just gonna sit here and be like, yeah, and smile. So yeah, that's kind of.
So what is the process of actually, you know, overcoming that problem?
Oh man, there's a lot. I've had my journey, and acting has definitely tested me a lot. I mean, when I first started like going out on my own auditions, like I used to not go to the audition. Like I would get there and I just wouldn't go because I was like, I don't have it, you know. And I kind of turned into like a perfectionist, which in the way it was kind of self-sabotage now that I look back at it. And I put so much pressure on like being perfect in the audition room, which, you know, I think because I would hear one teacher say, like, if you didn't have it fully off book, if you don't have it to the point where you could do it like, you know, 20 different ways without messing up, then you have it. And that's how you should show up, you know. And that I was just taking certain people's opinions and I made that like, that's how it has to be, right? I'm like, well, then I don't have it. I can't do it 20 ways. But my brain just didn't work the same way as other people's did. And which I shouldn't have listened to that person and take what they said so seriously. And I think I would take certain people, like teachers' advice, too personal, too serious. Where I was like, if I don't have it like that, I can't do it. I won't be able to act. Because my issue is never like the imagination or getting into the character. That's never the problem. It was always the words. The words really took over. And because it has such a deep, has such power within me since I was a kid. It has so much, you know, so many beliefs that I had about myself were from words and reading and things like that. A lot of insecurities. So for me, it was a journey. It has been a journey, and I just, you know, I think in the last couple of years, you know, I've done a lot of like self-work. I know it can sound a little cheesy, but like affirmations and like reminding myself that, yeah, I am smart, because for so long I believed like I wasn't smart. And I was intimidated to talk to people that were really intelligent, because I'm like, why are they going to want to talk to me? I you know, I don't understand what they're saying, you know? So I just put myself down, versus being like, okay, like I can ask a question, and if they're kind, they'll explain it to me, you know, instead of being like, oh, well, you don't know. Just embracing that and kind of reminding myself that on a daily basis. Like, I'm like, I'm capable, I'm smart. If I don't know, I can ask the question. You know, I embrace mistakes, mess up. And I think for me, being on set, like I got to go on SWAT, the show on CBS. One of my friends, he's one of the leads in the show, and he let me go and like watch. And like they were all messing up like so much. You know what I mean? They just had like a rough day. And it just reminded me that even people that are like in the top shows mess up, and they're all messing up. And I think my fear was messing up because I didn't want to, like, you know, keep the set, you know, keep everyone behind, I guess. And so that was a good reminder to myself that even, you know, the big stars, they're not perfect. A lot of them mess up. They all feel scared. They all feel insecure. They all feel like they didn't nail it. And those were the same things that I was experiencing as well. So I think a lot of self-reflection and a lot of checking in with myself, you know, and, you know, if I have a bad audition, I have a bad audition, instead of being like, you know, making that whole week and that whole month like depressing because like, oh, I messed up that one word and da, 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 like I suck, why am I doing this? You know, and you get in a spiral real quick. And I was like, I don't like feeling like this. Like I love acting and I'm allowing this fear take over. And like, that's not, you know, I gotta, you know, I'd rather face it and mess up than like, you know, stop doing it because like I'm scared. So that was a battle that's my thing. Everyone has their things. But for me, it's definitely with words. But I'm in a different place now where I've been working on myself so much, with accepting myself, you know, being myself's biggest cheerleader, you know, cheering myself on, be like, I got this, I can do it. It's okay if I mess up, fucking mess up. Oh, sorry. I don't know if I can say that.
Shame on you.
Embracing messing up, and you actually learn from messing up. And I think that's, you know, and if you don't know, ask. It never hurts to ask.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think just a lot of self-reflection and checking in and finding things that work for you. It definitely takes time, but I mean, I'm never going to be perfect, and that's okay. And I think I've come to that realization that, you know, I'm not perfect and it's okay. And I can't please everyone. I got to let that go. You know, because I was told a lot when I first started working in the industry, like when I was just learning, you know, unfortunately, a lot of men in the industry when I first started were very hard on me in a sense of like, well, you need to be sexy, you need to be, you know, you need to seduce me, you need to, you know, you need to be more powerful. And I was like 20, 21. And at that time where I was at 21, I was definitely not confident at all. I had a lot to learn. And they were just like really cruel with their words and just like telling me I need to lose weight, I need to be skinnier, I need to be sexier. And like that just never resonated with me. And that took a toll as well. So I attracted a lot of negative situations when I was younger, just out of being naive and hungry to be successful because I loved it so much. I loved acting, I just loved acting. I didn't really care so much to be famous, but more of just telling the story. It's like a certain magic about it. And I love people and studying people and, you know, fascinated with people's stories and journeys. And there's always something to learn from someone. So they kind of like, you know, took my excitement and all my like positive energy and like, you know, that hunger. They kind of, not that they took it away, I allowed them to kind of suck that out of me a little bit. So I had to deal with a lot of that, which was a lesson I had to probably learn, was to not get taken advantage of. Stand up for myself, which was another lesson I had to learn in my life, and still learning that one. But, you know, thinking everyone has good intentions, and that's not always the case, especially.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so that wasted a lot of my time, trusting people that had hidden agendas, and dealing with that. So yeah, that's kind of all over the place. I kind of went all over the place, but
Hey.
That's the journey that I've experienced, and it's not an easy one. But.
Well, you know, one of the problems that myself and a lot of people is that we get inside our own heads. We don't allow ourselves to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, always putting ourselves down because we want to be like everybody else, not realizing other people make the same mistakes.
Yep, or probably worse.
You know, you just never know. You have to allow yourself to make mistakes. That's how you grow. You make the mistakes, you learn from the mistakes. You just, you know, you try not to do it the next time.
Mm-hmm.
But once again, we get inside our own heads.
Oh.
I can't tell you how many times I'll lay down to go to sleep at night and I'm thinking on the whole day. And, you know, I've done an interview, oh, why didn't I do it like this? And, why did I do that? And blah, 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 blah. And then I can't sleep. I can't shut my brain off.
Oh, I have those too.
And insomnia is a real thing. My stupid brain will not shut down. And I have to remind myself, even when you remind yourself, hey, you're allowed to make mistakes, or things are not always going to be perfect. You just can't shut it off.
Yeah. It's
It
that
sucks.
daily battle. It's the daily battle with self, I say. I'm like, no one can say anything now to hurt me because I've already said it. I'm way meaner to myself than anyone else could ever be mean, So me, it's like working on that relationship with myself and like being kind because it's, it's my life. I'm dealing with me. No one else is, I got to be the nicest person to myself. And that's not always easy. You're going to get tested a lot. But I think, I don't know, for me, I started meditating. And I know that sounds like, people are like, oh, meditation, but
I recommend it.
For actors, at least, we're taught, to be present. You have to be present in order to do like a good performance. You don't want to be in your head. And I think also what we were talking about earlier was like social media. And at least in the last 5 years, I've had a discussion with someone that I was like, I haven't been bored in a really long time. Because I feel like it's kind of impossible now. You can always find something to distract you, whether it's like going on YouTube or Instagram, Facebook. Like you can get distracted so easily by the internet. And I was like, I don't know the last time I was just bored, like the good old days where I'm like, I don't know what to do. No one's answering their phone, you just get bored. And I was like, I haven't been bored. So I just found that interesting of realizing I allowed myself to get bored one day and I was like, oh, this feels nice. Clarity. Right?
It seems like as soon as you try to relax, your brain is so used to going all the time because you have so many things around you to keep you stimulated.
Yeah.
What's the first thing I do? I'm watching a TV show or something, trying to kick back, just relax. And even watching the show, if it's not going fast enough for me, I reach for my phone and start playing a stupid game. And I can still pay attention to the show and play my game, but I need the plot to come on. Let's go. Yeah. And we've conditioned ourselves like that as a society. You always have to have something going. Just trying to do housework or cleaning. It used to be just you turned on the radio, you listened to music, and that was your distraction. But now you have to be constantly doing something, especially with that stupid phone.
Yeah.
I mean, how do people walk out the door and, the first thing they want to do is, did I remember my phone? When I was a kid, we didn't have cell phones.
Oh, must have been nice.
So, you either had a couple of quarters on you so you could stop at a payphone, or, you're at your friend's house, you called the house from their house or whatever. Hey, what time are you going to call me?
Numbers. You knew all these phone numbers in your head.
Oh my God. I can still remember a lot of those numbers from my childhood, but anybody gives me their number now, I put it directly into my phone. And then, hey, what's your wife's number? I don't know. I don't have my
You're like, I don't know.
Hey, if I didn't have to constantly put my name and number on an application or what have you, whatever information I'm filling out, I wouldn't remember my own phone number. But I can remember my aunt's number from 40 years ago, and she hasn't had that phone in probably 30 years. But I can't tell you what my son's phone number is. Neither one of my boys. I couldn't tell you what their number is.
Isn't that crazy? I know. I used to know like so many people's numbers. Now I'm just like, I don't know anyone's number anymore. I just know like 2 numbers. That's it. That's crazy.
It is, but that's the way things are. You can't be comfortable leaving your house, just leaving your phone behind.
Well, because now people, at least with me, I have to have my phone on me all the time, because for actors, when you're sent an audition from your agency, you have to respond right away, because if you don't respond, then they'll give that audition to someone else. So it's like, it sucks because I'm always having to check it, even though like I kind of want to be like, oh, I don't want my phone all day. But you know, for actors, you don't know when you're going to get an opportunity. I mean, I could get an audition, you know, tonight at 9 p.m. or I can get one at 6 in the morning. You know what I mean? Or on Sunday in the middle of the afternoon. You just don't know when the opportunity comes, so you always have to be like on standby, which I think is a challenging thing as an actor. Is like you just never know, you know, when you're gonna get an audition. It's like, you know, I wish it was like Monday through Friday, that's when they do auditions, you know, Saturday, Sunday, no auditions, go out, you know, like, so we all can just like, you know, everyone can just relax, you know, agents can relax, casting directors can relax. I'm like, someone needs to organize this system better so people can relax, you know. I'm like, God, you know.
That's what I hated about working for the city. I mean, I worked 30 years in public works, and you always had to have a phone nearby in case you got called in, or, you know, when I first got into it, we had pagers. God, I hated those things.
I remember pagers.
You know, so you had to be close to a phone at all times, so you could forget trying to relax. But now that I don't work for the city anymore, sometimes I just leave my phone at home on purpose, you know.
Good.
And I actually enjoy it. I'm like, oh, I guess I can't answer the phone today. I forgot my phone at the house.
Mm-hmm.
Although it does aggravate me when I call my children and they don't answer the phone, and I know that phone's up their butt 24/7. So
they're like, they look at it. They're like,
it's just Dad
calling. I don't want to talk right now. But I feel like a lot of people don't like to talk on the phone anymore either. It's like text. Now it's just texting, or it's like people just message you through Instagram or Facebook. No one like calls you anymore. So and also too, like I was thinking about it. One of my acting teachers brought it up, and she was saying like, it's so frustrating because, you know, people can call you, people can text you, people can message you through Instagram, message you through Facebook, email you. She's like, we're constantly being like not attacked, but like contacted all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, I feel like sometimes it's hard to get anything done because everyone wants something from you. And if they can't contact you from one platform, they're going to contact you from another. And it's like, and she's like, you know what? She's like, she said, she's like, you don't need to answer it. She's like, you don't need to respond. You don't have to respond. You don't owe anyone anything. You know, if you don't want to pick up the phone, if you don't want to text someone back, unless it's obviously an emergency or for your work or something like important, you know, you'll get people from like high school messaging you or calling you. Why did you delete? It's just like, dude, you know, we're so like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like, everyone's contacting you from all platforms and it's so overwhelming. It's like you can't get off anything because you'll go on Facebook and then all of a sudden like some people message you and they're like, I have to respond or they're gonna think I'm mean. Or you go on you go on Instagram, like, oh, you didn't respond to my message. You saw it, but you didn't respond to it. I'm like, I have to study or, you know, I have to go to work. And it's like, I don't have time to like sit here and have a freaking conversation. I'm not like in high school where I can just sit and just have a dialogue on Instagram for like 3 hours straight. You know, you're not my boyfriend. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't have the time. I'm sorry. Like, and it's like a lot of energy going from all different directions. And it's like, you know, we didn't have that before. You know, I can only imagine like what the younger generation, like, I don't even know how they're functioning. It's too much. Like, we're not made for all this. Like, you know, it's like not simple anymore. The simple days are gone.
Well, sometimes you just want to get away from it all, you
right?
know? You know, I don't want to talk. You know, I hate it. I'm one of these, I hate getting text messages. If you want to talk to me that bad, call me. Okay. Or, you know, and I do understand where people are coming from when they're like, hey, can I call you? Because you know, you never know if they're working or in a meeting or something like
Yeah.
that. So, I get it. At first I was like, why would you message me to say, can I call you? But, I get it. I get it. This day and age, everybody's always got a phone with them. But I also get to where I get those notifications. Somebody's messaged me on social media or something like that. And I don't even want to look at it because they're going to say, oh, I saw that you looked at my message.
And then they ask you, why didn't you respond or whatever? And
Yeah.
I'm just like, why do we have to always explain ourselves? Like, I'm done explaining myself. Like, just, I just want everyone to be happy. Like, I always try to be understanding with people. Like, if I call someone, like my best friend, I'll call her and if she doesn't answer, I'll leave her a voicemail or a text her or something like, I hope you're doing well. I miss you. Call me whenever you can or whatever. And I don't get, I hate it when people not hold grudges, but get so mad at you for not answering the phone or not calling them back. I'm like, dude, everyone's getting we're constantly, people are taking us away from what we're trying to do. I feel like it's impossible to get through your to-do list without being called, message, that's why I try not to be active that much on social platforms because it'll just distract me all day and I'll never get to what I need to get done for myself. All my energy is gone because I've put it through all these conversations that I'm like, is this really important right now? Unless it's an emergency and someone really needs to talk to you. But I feel like we need to let people, it's okay if they don't answer, it's okay they don't respond. I get it. They might be going through something, people have a depression nowadays. They just they don't want to talk to anyone. I had this one friend where she's like, I'm sorry, I just didn't answer my phone or responded to your text messages. I was just in a dark place and I didn't really want to talk to anyone. And I'm sorry if that offended you. And I'm like, no, whatever you need.
I get it.
I'm not here to judge you. Whatever you need, I just want you to know that I'm reaching out. If you want to reach back out, it's cool. If I don't see you in 2 years, I'm still going to treat you the same way, with kindness and, want you to do good and everything like that. I get it. Life's overwhelming now, it's really overwhelming. It's and the expectations that, I feel like we all need to be perfect. We all need to be politically correct. We all need to know, everything. And it's we're so imperfect. You know what I mean? We can only do so much. You have to have a 6-pack. You have to be healthy. You have to go on your juice cleanse. You have to have 3 jobs. You have to have it in, a social media presence. You have to, it's oh my God, it's a lot on everyone. I feel like everyone feels that pressure from society of having to check all these boxes. We have to be the best mothers. We have to, and it's just oh my God, I don't know how people sleep. I really
It is overwhelming.
oh my God, it overwhelms me just thinking about it.
One of my favorites too is didn't you see my picture on Facebook or whatever? Yeah. Well, you didn't like it.
Oh my God.
I'm okay. I saw it.
You're I think that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Yeah. Is it really that important? Do you need that confirmation that I hit the like button and I liked your picture? Can I just like it and not have to hit a button? It's crazy.
It's just, yeah, I don't know. It's just it's a lot, I think. And just thinking the last 5 years too, it's just increased because when social media just kind of came out, I remember I was in high school. So I didn't really deal with that, in junior high or elementary school with, kids now. They're just glued to the, they can't handle commercials. I'm my nephew, he's only a year and 7 months. And he gets so impatient when the commercial comes on. I'm it's only 30 seconds. I'm no, I'm you're going to watch the commercial. You need to learn patience. You need to learn to wait, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I know exactly what you mean.
Then there's no clarity, then you don't get inspired anymore because you're just your brain's so preoccupied. That's why they say it's important to get bored. It's important to meditate because then you finally have sometimes you just got to step back, right?
Yes.
And just reflect on things and be oh, how do I really feel about that? Or that was really intense on social media. Like, how do I feel? And just like stepping back. And I feel like, especially with social media, it's so, sometimes there's such heated topics on there. Then after you're out of, like, once you're done, you close it, and then you're still like having you having the debates in your head, right? I'll have like the angel and the devil in there, like, having the argument that I just watched, and then it just takes over my whole day, where I can't even be present anymore, and I'm not productive because it got me in a bad mood. I can't get out of it, and it's bugging me so much, and it's like, wow. And I don't know.
Well, we rely on other people to give us our opinions, basically.
Right? I'm just like,
think for yourself, do the research. If you want to like something, you like something. If you don't want to like something, you don't like something. I do watch reviews and things like that. I like to see other people's take on it. But if I like something, I don't care if it's popular or not. I like it. And you should be allowed to. Just because everybody else in the world doesn't like something doesn't mean you can't, and vice versa.
Yeah. I think everyone's so harsh.
Yeah.
Like, everyone needs to meditate. We all need to meditate together.
Yes.
And right? Yeah. So meditation. So I've been just I've been kind of being disciplined with myself, because I can tell when I'm kind of not going downhill, when I'm going through like a spiral moment. I call it like my spiral moments, where I start like, where I'm not grounded anymore. I'm just so, I'm so attacked. Like if I notice I'm on YouTube for more than an hour, that's a problem. If I'm on Instagram for more than an hour, or just 20 minutes or 30 minutes, that's a problem. Because for me, it affects me in a negative way. Some people it doesn't. But if I'm not watching anything that's like educational, I'm just like watching something like, I don't even need to be watching. I'm just watching it because I don't want to like think. I don't want to have to do what I need to do. It's like, it's an escape, right? Social media is an escape, which is dangerous. It's like a drug. It's addicting. And I know I get addicted, and I know the aftermath of that, being addicted. It's like going on a drug, and then, not that I know what that's like, but what I've, heard from friends that are on ecstasy, they say like they get a big high, and then the next couple of days, they're like super sad and depressed. And that's kind of how I feel with social media. It's like, I'll be on there, and then I feel really like sad and like confused, and I don't feel good about myself. I feel like, what am I doing with my life? I should be doing this person's doing that. So why am I not doing that? Like, what's wrong with me? I suck, you know what I mean? And then you go on a spiral, and then I don't get anything done because I'm not focused anymore. And I get off track because I get all caught up in like my head for too much. So for me, I have to be really disciplined with myself. And meditation really helps me stay calm and clear. And sometimes when I do have those spiral moments, I have to meditate a little bit more, you know what I mean? To just get even clearer and more present. Because I notice when I'm overwhelmed with social media, I'm not saying I'm a mean person, but I'm just saying like, I'm not my best, nice Tara. Like, I'm not giving everyone the Tara they deserve to have that day, the cheery, happy girl, positive, motivational, excited, happy for you type girl. I'll just be kind of like, oh, kind of sad, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to go out. I'm not inspired today. I don't want to rehearse, and it really takes a toll. And if it, I don't know, it just makes me, I get worried about myself. I can only imagine what other people experience, Yeah.
Well, what we have to try to help each other,
right?
And kind of help get our feet back on the ground. Try to bring some positivity into this world, which is basically why I started doing the interviews. Is I like to bring people in and have them tell their story. And somebody out there can say, you know what, I relate to that. Especially if you have the, I struggled, but then I became successful, or I became happy.
Yeah.
How did you do that? And something clicks in their brain. So, that's why I've tried to steer away from the politics and all that stuff on my shows. I just want to bring something positive. You get tired of all the social justice stuff going on, and what have you. Just I just want to be a regular human being for a few minutes, you know?
Yeah, it's always in your face. So it's like for 1 minute, I just want to be, not around that at the moment. Like, and I think we got to allow people to have that moment away from it and just let people relax, to like take a deep breath. We all get so tense and that's not good for our health. It can only,
Exactly.
all those emotions and stuff. We got to be able to like turn things off and then restart it again the next day, or, get in a better state of mind, or whatever it takes for you to be in your best state,
With media and social media and everybody's, that has influence or whatever, they tell you how you're supposed to think and feel. And it's kind of nice to be reassured it's okay for you to think and feel the way you think and feel, even if it's not like everybody else.
Yeah.
Just don't be mean to people. That's what I say.
Like just be kind, because I feel like more people, you're gonna get more of your way if you're nicer to people, right? Or they're more willing to understand you if you're kinder to them. But if you're just gonna be mean and nasty, guess what? They're gonna want to be complete opposite than you now because you were mean and nasty to them. People don't forget how you treat others. Like they remember how they treated you in that moment. And you don't forget the nasty moments. You forget all the good moments, but you don't forget like when people are mean to you. You do not forget those.
That's for sure.
You don't. And it sucks that like we remember like the negative comments from someone versus like the kind comments that you get. And it's like, why am I like listening to this one person that doesn't even know me, or whatever the reason is. And it's like, why don't I care about like what this nice person said, or
I could look back in high school and I couldn't name probably 2 things that people did nice for me back then, but I could tell you everybody that picked on me and was mean to me and exactly what happened. And that's sad. Yeah, you never forget. You never forget.
You never forget those moments. You could kind of forgive, but you will not forget. You're like, I can't forget that. And it just sucks. So for me, it's like I always try to like, when people do something nice to me, I try to make that my focus versus anything negative, right? I don't know, try to hold those more close to my heart and be like, that was really kind, thank you. Or, try to pay it forward. My biggest thing is paying it forward as much as possible, because life's hard, as enough as it is for everyone. Everyone has their own challenges and battles in this world. And, it just sucks. And I just want everyone to just, be happy, or just, be treated kindly. And I think that we all deserve that. And just to, buy someone a Starbucks and anonymously without any, without an agenda, right? Just to purely just to make someone smile or feel good, or, if you feel like you want to give someone a compliment, give it to them. Be like, I love your lipstick. You look great today. Like, you kind of inspired me, or I don't know, instead of leaving mean comments, leave a nice comment, because I feel like those are so rare now. A nice comment or a nice compliment is so rare to hear. We're so used to hearing the negative things. And that really takes a toll on mental health. And if people really care about mental health, they need to check how they treat people on, in all platforms and just in person. I'm like, then you just need to be kind. Like, you don't know what people are going through. And it's a tough world. And, we only live once, or whatever anyone believes. So it's like, why not make it a good one? Why don't we choose to make it a good day and, choose to live every day, a positive day. And even though that's hard at times, it's very hard, but at least leading with that intention to have a good day or to make someone smile. Like, I think that's a good day well done.
Right.
Why not, right?
Just making somebody else feel good, that should be your goal.
Yeah, without anything in return, why not?
We do a daily devotion, on our channel, and the 3 things to remember is to think good thoughts, say good words, take good actions.
I like that. Mm-hmm.
And speaking of which, I want to thank you for being on my show and taking time out of your day to spread a little wisdom and a little kindness.
Hopefully.
Well, I think there'll be people out there that listen that can relate to some of the things you've been through, and hopefully you will inspire them. I think you can. I want to thank you. I want to thank everyone that tunes in to us. And without you, we wouldn't be here.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Listen to the Vibes. You can catch us on Buzzsprout or wherever you listen to your favourite podcasts, and on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network and on Instagram at The Vibes Broadcast.